Okay. Continuing the journey from the last session, I made a title, How Do You Use Common Sense with These Simple Steps to Remove the Impurities of the Mind? I think in the few sessions before I talked about a guy who had a dating and ultimately he got frustrated and then he discussed with me. Perhaps you remember this young guy, a good businessman, wonderful person. He has been doing the practice almost for the last 2 years privately. Yesterday he was so excited. He called me a couple of times and said that he is very clear that he has to discover the real self. And that real self alone is the nature of peace and happiness, love and wisdom. So he discussed that the moment I kept on contemplating and reflecting, my stress, my sense of attachment, my mind was urging, demanding that I should talk to her, dissolved completely. Because now I understand this is what you mean, and this is what the teaching of the East and West. That is, at that moment, I could realize that he has become the highest seeker. Now his question was, you see that he had underwent into a very turbulent period for the last almost 2 or 3 weeks because of dating and ultimately failure, frustration, everything is gone completely. His question was that you told me about the real, false, and the unreal. Now I have to understand how to manage this false in my life, how to transcend that in my daily life. Almost for the last 2 months, he was only talking about his frustration, failure. She is not helping me. She doesn't respond to me, and everything has gone completely. This is the power of the Eastern West. That all of our impurities and the enemies dissolve completely. So I asked him that how long it took you to dissolve completely. No, I don't want to talk about anything that has happened. Why I narrated the story. Obviously, one thing that a revelation takes place inside you, and you say everything is done. Very good. I am not at all worried. That is why I have repeated many a times that every situation we are, every problem we have is a big opportunity for us to evolve. Every opportunity. You have a lot of money, you have an opportunity. You don't have a money, you have an opportunity. You underwent a turbulent period in your relationship, that is also an opportunity. We never realize what we experience today morning is very bad. Yesterday was very good. This is what we are living. How many times we said, how many mornings are good and how many mornings are bad? How many relations are good and how many relations are bad? Please. So now he has to undergo the same sessions with me the way we have been going about the impurities of the mind. So now he has to recognize that these are the impurities of the mind. So sometimes the revelation takes place, it helps you to jump at the highest level. But can you maintain it? If the impurities are removed, you can maintain it. If it is not, you cannot maintain it. You may fall back. We all have to reflect on this journey. So how, and this is just a common sense. So can I explain you that what happened in his intellect? That every master talks about in the very beginning, and we ignore it. So that is why I discussed about this young guy. Complete ignorance. What is complete ignorance? Deep sound sleep. That is why we say ignorance is bliss. Initially, I rejected this proverb, but now it's complete ignorance, deep sleep. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. Complete knowledge, it is bliss. Bliss means permanent happiness. Pay attention, understand it. Complete knowledge. Do you have any problem going to the restroom in your house? Do you have a problem going into the kitchen? You have a complete knowledge. Do you see that? Complete ignorance, bliss. Ignorance is bliss. Complete knowledge, knowledge is bliss. Which one is better? Ask yourself. Which one is better? Obviously, the knowledge is better. What that knowledge? Self-knowledge. So when I have a right self-knowledge, I'm living in permanent happiness. That is what the mindfulness is. You are living from a moment to moment. Did you understand? Complete knowledge, bliss means permanent happiness. Don't take your mind and relate the bliss with getting some kind of pleasure in contact with something in the world. I'm not talking of that kind of a bliss. That is short-lived. That comes and goes. Complete knowledge, bliss, complete ignorance. That is why we say ignorance is bliss, because in deep sleep, it's a total ignorance. I don't know whether I'm the body or the mind, whether I'm related to someone, whether I'm single or married or have kids, whether I have a problem. No, nothing else is. But now when I have a complete knowledge in a waking state, complete knowledge of what? Real self. Permanent happiness. I live into that state of wisdom. So I was talking about the four connections. So this guy internally, I was talking about his real life story. And I just sent a message to him that now you have, after 2 years, it took him 2 years to reach to that point of, he never left it. He argued many times. But ultimately, he said that I wanted to understand what is the message. He got it. it starts with the 4 connections. We normally follow these 4 connections in our daily personal, professional, social, and family life. But when it comes to the self-discovery, we forget. I'm reminding you, subject matter. The intellect must become aware of the subject matter. I'm in stress. What is the subject matter? What should be the subject matter? It should be peace and happiness. No, Stephen has said me something. I'm upset. My focus is on this, Steve. For example, my focus is on somebody else. So subject matter, who am I? That was, internally. That's what I realized. So first is the subject matter. Then who wants to realize the real self? Who wants to live into the permanent happiness as a person? But the person has to become a seeker. If the person is not seeker, it will not happen. Again, related to the same guy. I just narrated this story. It's a real life story. I'm not qualified to study astronomy because I am studying biology. So I have to change the mindset. What our masters are saying, I have to become a qualified seeker. Don't create a sense of ego that I'm already a qualified seeker, I'm very intelligent. So I have already told you indirectly, higher IQ will not work. You have the higher IQ, go to Harvard. Ivy League institutions. This is the common sense. 2 factors. Third factor that we should keep in our mind the result, the benefit, the goal. What is the goal? It will be an end of suffering once and for all. That is the goal. Three factors. Now connect all the 3 factors. A qualified seeker connects to the subject matter. Now realize what this guy told me. I just told this story. So because it came from his own intellect, the principles became his own. So 3 factors: subject matter, qualified seeker, and the result. We should never forget the result. Result is the end of suffering and awakening to the real self. And to relate the qualified seeker to the subject matter. Oh, who am I? So at present, the way I experience who am I is suffering because of the ignorance, because of the incomplete knowledge. We have to make the knowledge complete. Anytime, anywhere, in any situation, the moment we have a reaction, anxiety, anger, duality, a conflict, do I remember these 4 connections? What will happen? Your mind will say, oh, here is a good opportunity to see, to evolve. Then what happens? You are not only awake, but you are also aware. I've been talking about it. I think everyone assimilated that knowledge. I'm awake, that's okay. But I'm not aware, incomplete knowledge. Are you getting it? Say yes. Everything deeper, it's so simple. Common sense. When I lose awareness, then only the suffering begins. Reverse this. You have to contemplate and reflect. Reverse this. And I have spoken many times, I would say thousands of times. What I have spoken, can you put into agenda to become angry tomorrow at 10 a.m.? The moment the 10 a.m. comes, you are already aware. Your awareness will prevent you to become angry. Just now, can you become angry now? First ask the first question. Do you react and become angry? Are you sensitive? Yes. Become sensitive now. You cannot. No possibility. Why? No possibility. Awareness leads to the complete knowledge. Are you getting it? Say yes. Awareness leads to the complete. This is what the common sense is. Use intellect. Use intellect. Normally, people say, I have been so kind, I've been helpful, I have been loving my honey so much, and still I experience fears, failures, and frustration. One answer: you are awake, no doubt, but you are not aware. The same thing happened. I gave her 200%, and she frustrated me. I said, "Who told you to give 200%? Who told you?" One thing. Why you gave 200%? You negotiated very hard with me. Did you get it? So briefly, now with that understanding, briefly let us understand I am real self, not experienced. Why? Because I am veiled by the ignorance in the mind. Ignorance causes the impurities and it causes the wandering mind, the distracted mind. From where we started the journey in the last couple of weeks. So question comes up, how to remove that ignorance? How to remove. But before I remove the ignorance, I want to realize, my goal is to realize the real self. And I know that I have understood that I'm the real self. So there what comes in the mind, there are two I. One is the reflected consciousness, what is known as the false I or the ego. Ego is also used with reference to the I, and the real self is also used with reference to the I. So there are two I's. One I that I don't know. The other I, the false I, with which I constantly work. So there comes the principle of real, false, and unreal. I have to recognize that. So now I recognize the false I. So when I recognize the false I can use it. False I do not dictate over me. What the false I says, I am worthy of suffering. Definitely you are worthy of suffering. Continue to suffer. The false I will always claim that I am worthy of suffering because the real I is always made up of peace and happiness. How can it claim? How can it say? There is not just. So then, because of the false I, those impurities are hidden, needs to be weakened, lessened, and ultimately removed. It's an ongoing journey in our life, in every situation. So that is what I discussed, Commander in Chief. So then here I have already given a reference. Now I'm simply answering. Good karma, good action alone is not enough. I may be doing very good action motivated by the false side. That is why I questioned him why you gave 200% to her. When you met her first time, just 2 weeks, please bear with me. You all are beautiful women. I'm not targeting the women. It pertains to anyone. So, so I'm doing a good karma by giving 200%. But what is my motivation? Did I reflect it on the four connections? The problem will be over. Are you getting it? Yeah, think deeper. So that is how I discussed in a couple of the sessions. So then what I said, that we have to know how to perform our actions in our daily life, in my personal life, in my professional life, in my social life. Do you remember the 3C? Connect, contribute, celebrate. Being grateful. Both sides says, why should I connect? They should connect to me. You see that? And a long list of impurities manifest with the commander in chief. So you are saying to the false ego, come on, connect, contribute, celebrate, being grateful. When? Where? The moment you wake up until you perform your personal duties, professional duties, social duties, do it. So that is why we say karma alone is not enough. Action alone is not enough. But the state of the mind. So purity of the mind is essential. So it means we have no issue in our life. Means what? Whatever I'm doing, personal, professional, social, family work, I'm doing it with the attitude of karma yoga. Whether you say karma yoga, whether you say connect, contribute, celebrate, it is the same thing. So what is happening? You are continuously purifying your mind in every situation from moment to moment. What it means? You are awake and aware. Common sense. Awake and aware. Your common sense. So the purity of the mind means purity of the thought, purity of the speech, purity of the action. For what? For myself, to realize the real self. So we applied the conventional methods. That is what I told you. So by which you just put the negative ego or the unright ego totally aside. But still you are using ego. But it is a right ego. What the right ego does, connect, contribute, and celebrate. So then we discussed that what is the best method to realize the real self, self-inquiry. Why self-inquiry? Because the self-inquiry hits and targets the ignorance. And ignorance causes the impurity that results into suffering. So the conventional method helps us to purify the mind, removes the impurities. So now we have come to this self-inquiry. Normally, we have started the, you can say, what is known as the topical text, teachings from the topical text, which helps us to prepare to become a seeker, to understand clearly what exactly is the path logically. And after that, Gita. Gita, which has in 18 chapters, that is the first to be studied clearly. Why Gita? Because Gita helps us to remove all kinds of ignorance in our personal, professional, social, and family life. Normally we all have a doubt. How can I discover my real self? I don't have a time. I'm very busy. So it helps us to understand our entire life with reference to their existence. That is the first book. I have not touched it. But it doesn't mean that when you start the journey with the Gita, you will really understand easily that many of the topics you have already covered. Not only it makes us a seeker, but it also helps us to evolve. The second group of the text is Upanishad, and the third group is known as another text, which is known as the Sutra. What the Sutra does, it removes all the doubts, conflict, wrong interpretation by our mind pertaining to the real self, and you are fully established in the real self. From there, the journey of the self-inquiry starts. But then I added one more thing, Mangalacharam. Awake and aware means creating an auspicious moment in our life. So I told him that now when you meet this so-called your path, now can I say X, honey? And he started laughing. I said, can you meet with her, keeping your mind awake and aware? What you will speak, I will always speak the peace. It came out instantly. And it made me so happy. I'm awake and aware. I have nothing to blame and react outside in the world, which is responsible for myself. He told me, no, I realized it. I'm going to meet her. Now, even as a stranger with free from attachment, what will happen? Then he is investing into the relationship. He is applying, connect, contribute, and celebrate. So I told her, I told him that would you thank her, sorry, would you thank her that she has helped you to evolve? For the last couple of weeks, you were totally frustrated. You are the same person. Your ignorance dropped. Now you don't have any indolent reaction against her. He said it is true. I'm 100% sure. I tell you. He wanted to convince me. I said, no, I know it. Every situation, every condition is a big opportunity for us to evolve. The spaciousness we have come to the. We have also understood that we can remove the ignorance in a waking state, not in a dream or the sleep state. So waking state is a field in which we have to work. We should not avoid any activity in our life, but we have to see and find out how to respond. Very important. No, I don't want to talk to her or him, he or she is not listening. Are you listening to yourself? Let no one listen to you. Are you listening to yourself? Are you listening to the wisdom? So I discussed already that what is the difference between the wise and fool. So once we start the self-inquiry, before we go for self-inquiry, we have to understand what exactly is being wise and fool. I have never seen, did Buddha ever thought of committing suicide? he worked for more than 6 years towards the realization. I'm not criticizing, but it is a fact. I'm telling you the fact. How many younger people who scored IQ, which is almost at the highest level, committed suicide during the last 20 years? Find out from the books. The Eastern wisdom is a common sense approach. Having a greater high IQ does not mean that your mind inside is not impure. It is full of impurities. So I'm revising, helping you to revise Satasangatve. Summary, what exactly is the summary? Satasangatve Nesasangatvam. Harry, you asked me the question, I have summarized everything. And then I will come to that verse. That's time you talked about me. So Satasangatve Nesasangatvam. Constant listening and learning, contemplation and reflection on those principles that we discuss together gradually and progressively removes, dissolves the sense of likes and dislikes and attachment and detachment. First step. So once that is gone, then what happens? You are still listening, learning, and doing the practice. I'll give an example. It took him 2 years. Normally, our IQ, if you follow the IQ, it says, no, I understood it. I understood it, really. No, I still have a lot of stress. You did not understand. So simple to measure. Focus. So anyhow, so the first step is the constant listening and learning. You are listening and learning, contemplation, reflection, and practicing. The first thing that happens, detachment. From the detachment, your mind now lives in the state of dispassion because you are applying the discernment. From the dispassion, once you achieve the dispassion, you will recognize why my mind is not wandering now. You will ask the question, and you know the answer. The mind is not wandering anywhere. Normally, we say we have a problem of distraction, oscillation of the mind in modern psychology, and I will not speak more. Christina will got me. So, so what happens? There is a natural steadiness of the mind that helps you to absorb into the real self that you have reached. For that last point, Karpachesta Bhako Dhyanam, 5 factors. Karpachesta, effort like a crow. We need to have an effort like a crow. This guy told me, he said, I realize now I should have realized 2 years ago, but my ego was blocking me. And he was so excited. He called me a couple of times yesterday. Karpachesta, effort like a crow. Bhako Dhyanam, the focus like a crane. Swan and Nidra, the thing which the sleep like a dog. Did dog ever complain that I did not sleep, let me sleep, and then I will take food after some time. Whatever the quantity they sleep well. That is the message of the master. I think this verse was written almost 3,000 years ago. And Alpahari, Brahmatyagi, Vidyarthi, that is the quality of a seeker. Filtering unnecessary, unwanted thoughts that I'm worthy of suffering, I have a lot of problems, I live my life, I carry the burden of the stress on my shoulder for the last 20 years. It means in the last 20 years, you only remember, repeat, fear and frustrated because you are suffering. Because God made you suffer. And filtering your thought and filtering your food also. The food that can easily be digested and assimilated so that it helps you to remain awake and aware. Five things. Let us start our journey. Eyes are closed. I took little more time, but we will finish it, no worries. Eyes are closed, body is comfortable, and now is the time to check. Awake and aware. There is no struggle with the body, breath, mind, position of the body. Struggle. There is no struggle means there is no impurities at this moment. Being comfortable, settled in the comfort. Move the mind on the entire body from the top of the head to the toes. First layer. When I use the word move the mind within, I am wrong. The statement is false, but the message is right. What should be the message? Right in consciousness. You already know it. So awareness of the body. Now right in consciousness means your experience is sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Another layer, calmness and quietness. When I say look inside, move inside the sensation, comfort, and steadiness, it is calmness and quietness. Even for a fraction of a second, that is enough. And then the space is awareness, and awareness is space. So in that state of being comfortable, being carefree, lane one, I'll not say anything. Lane one, check. Where are you? In the lane two, moment you are in the lane two, the mind moves to the lane three simultaneously. That it doesn't take even a fraction of a second to get focused and being natural. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. We are replacing. So lane number two is listening. If the lane number one is listening, first take care of my unwanted thoughts and then I will chant the mantra. So it means you are not a seeker. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Meaning, let there be happiness for all. Why? When we see why, we ask questions after questions until all the doubt is removed and there is a conviction. You see, that is what I have been doing. We have been doing together. Happiness is our essential nature. How can you say every living species is seeking happiness in the world? Every living species, mosquito, tiger, to elephant, even to the COVID virus, they multiply because they are seeking happiness. The moment you have a living entity, consciousness present is there, is of the nature of happiness. That is why we are seeking happiness. Oh, that is why I am saying let everyone be happy. Yes. Do you see from incomplete knowledge to complete knowledge? That is the message. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Let there be peace for everyone. May there be peace for all. That is the simple translation. Why? Why? Go on asking. Peace is our essential nature. One of the attributes of the consciousness is peace. Oh, that is why. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Here comes, let there be completeness in all. Completeness in all? How? Everyone is complete. Mango tree is complete in itself. Orange tree is complete in itself. Mosquito is complete in itself. It is only the problem with the human race. We feel the sense of incompleteness. So this message is not for the other living species, for us. So I have to discover that sense of completeness in me. Sarvesham Gurinam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be a spaciousness for all. I'm awake, yes, aware of that particular moment. Mind says this is a difficult situation. Because I'm aware, I say it is because of the impurity of the mind. Let me solve this problem. You are already inauspicious. This is what happens in the world. If it doesn't happen, let me know. Ask 1,000,000 questions until your intellect is convinced. That conviction goes into the mind, and the mind says, no, no, no longer I'm going to live with impurities. What happens? The life changes. That we will continue our journey with. So look deep inside. Again, I'm saying, look deep inside the forehead. You have to understand. Look inside the forehead in the space and continue to start saying Om Shanti. Om is the real self. Shanti means the peace. And with that, the recitation and mentally start breathing quick and short breath from the rib cage. Your expansion and contraction of the chest continues with the breath. Body lives in the state of comfort and carefree. And keep on, continue. Continue. Expansion or the squeezing of the rib cage with every breath going in and out. Om Shanti. You see that? I'm invoking your awareness, so to say. How? I'm saying keep on dropping Om Shanti, keep on doing chest breathing, keep on expanding and contracting. This is, we are working in the field of awareness. Lack of awareness, the mind will say, let me invite the impurities. This is what is happening. It's not very big deal. We don't need an IQ. And stop it. Just after stopping, again you are awake and aware. What it means, you recognize, you accept the changes that is taking place at this moment in terms of your experiences. No need to worry at all. Unusual experiences will take place. Have not taken up those what it means. I'm going to take up that. Now looking in, keep inside the forehead, Om Shanti. Now start breathing. Little longer breath into the belly. Inhale, expand your belly, and exhale, squeeze your belly. Continue. Om Shanti continues. Now you can easily connect to how I was giving you the practice before. You said you are aware of Om Shanti, doing Om Shanti, you are aware of the space inside the forehead, you are aware of the expansion and contraction of the belly. What is this? Common sense, awake and aware. Why? Prevent the garbage of the mind to return. When I will stop, you will come to know. You will know by yourself. Continue, my friends. Now stop this, do nothing, experience, recognize, accept all the experiences. You can discuss with me at the end of the session. But at present, no need to be scared because any moment of feeling reaction will invite all the impurities in your mind. And what is common sense? Awake and aware. Double A or A square. Looking inside, Om Shanti continues, and now do the third breathing, both into the belly and the chest. Long, deep. One breath, you inhale into the belly, expands into the rib cage, expands up to the throat. It means you inhale, you fill in the air as much as is possible into the lower lobes of the lungs and then the upper lobes of the lungs. long, deep hissing. So it gives a hissing sound. I don't know about the snakes, but they have to do the hissing only because they have to do the long breath. Perhaps that's how the masters have uh, equated this symbolically. And stop this, do nothing. Recognize means you are aware, accept the changes and the experiences you are having at this moment. We have unusual experiences. Do not shy in sharing them because that helps me to customize the next lesson based on the entire group. And now, triangle, equilateral, visualize deep inside the cave of your heart, pointing upward. So 3 points of awareness of the side of the triangle, awareness of the mantra, Shanto Ham or Om Shanti, or just do a Shanto Ham, I am the peace, and movement of the mind. Clockwise, anti-clockwise on each side, you're dropping. You can still visualize the triangle in any color. White background, black triangle, black, black background, white or any color, whatever. It's okay. Don't pay too much of pressure or attention. Oh, I have to visualize that color. All our imaginations of the mind, we have to get rid of the mind. So any color will do. Shantoham, I'm the peace. Now leave that triangle, japa, shantu, hum, with all the 16 points of the fingers. But what is the uniqueness? Uniqueness is that it's the mind's eye, it's the mind's ear, it's the mind's tongue, and it's the mind's skin that is touching the point. While you're saying Shantuhan, you are also touching that point. You're also hearing that sound of the Shantuhan inside. Most beautiful thing happens that state is just before falling into the deep sleep. Senses are withdrawn. I believe you are getting what I want to convey. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Awareness of the right hand. When I say awareness, it is perception. It is experience. You may feel a lot of sensations there, freezing or any. Awareness of the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. We'll go to Stephen.
That was very difficult to come out of.
Right.
Yes, yes. The meditation was extremely deep, quite relaxed, very settled. I can't remember anything. There was nothing. It was absolutely nothing. So I just It is.
That is beautiful. I wanted to tell you what this young guy said to a message. That is what we are looking for. He said, "Thank you, my dear Guruji." So it is not what it calls I meant. It was a kind of revelation. And what is this Guruji? Guruji simply means it is going to notice, not a universal. That is the message. But when you have that revelation, now you already know the younger generation, they have I'll tell you something more. Jerry, Jerry,
Thank you, sir. Just so you know, your microphone after we came out of it is very difficult to hear you. It sounds like you're in another room almost, just FYI. So I didn't hear what you said to Stephen personally. Meditation for me was wonderful. It's like I have two observations during it. It was, my analogy is I'm driving down the road and all of a sudden the top of my car comes off and there's like infinite space.
Yeah.
Just like that, like clear, like I've never seen clear open space before. And then when we were doing the heart, I could see one eye looking back at me. And so it was just very peaceful, very wonderful, extremely deep. So thank you.
and we talk about the it's basically symbolic.
Is everybody else having a problem hearing them? Yeah.
It's very garbled. It's very garbled for us.
Sir, your voice is not clear.
Voice is not clear.
Ashok, you take over.
No, he has come back. सर आवाज नहीं आ रही है सेम पहले की तरह ही है
Can't hear you.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Can't hear you.
The noise cancellation. Are you listening?
Yes, we can hear you better.
It sounds like the connection to your microphone may be loose or something. I'm guessing. I don't know.
No.
Can't hear.
Can't hear you.
No. No, we can't hear you.
No, we can't hear you.
I'm not clear
We can't hear you.
No.
I don't know if it's worth trying for all of us to go out and end and restart the meeting.
आ रही वैसी आवाज आ रही है। नहीं आ रही सर। सर आ रही है आवाज? आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है अभी। नहीं, मुझे तो आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही। हाँ अभी आई। क्रैक कर रही है लेकिन बीच बीच में। सेम सर, सेम इशू। सर अभी कैन यू हियर मी? हाँ वही, लेकिन क्रैक करके आ रही है। सर वैसी आवाज आ रही है जैसे पहले आ रही थी ना। नेट का इश्यू तो नहीं है कुछ इधर से? नहीं आ रही है। अभी बीच में आती है फिर क्रैक, बीच में आएगी फिर गायब, मिसिंग हो जाती सर आवाज वैसे ही है। थैंक यू। नमस्ते एवरीवन, नमस्ते एवरीवन।
Thank you.